call her Stephanie, I call her Zezame. Yes, Zezame as in open sesame with a Z has donated a watch to the channel for a review. Now, I've heard great things from this watch company, and I am rather impressed with the packaging and the fact that we are getting an additional strap to jump things off. But aside from the watch, there's no other conversation to make this review. The reviews will always be an open and honest review of the watch, in my opinion, as I fully enjoy bringing you open and honest reviews. Powering this mechanical watch is the Epson Caliber YN55A, which is essentially an unbranded version of the Orient Caliber F6722. It's a self-winding automatic movement with 22 joules, and it also features hacking and hand winding functions. This movement has been proven to be reliable and robust and is often compared to the Seiko NH35 caliber. The bracelet is beads of rice style with screwed in links that are very nicely polished in the center of the beads of rice and brushed on the ends and the sides of the bracelet. Solid female end links that are equipped with quick release function between the lugs. Brushed push deployment fold over milled clasp with an engraved safety lock that is polished, and there's 3 points of tooled micro adjustments within it. As mentioned briefly in the intro, Zezame is giving us a second strap, which is leather, a black leather that is stitched with white at the edging, genuine leather, and Zezame with the company logo on the inside. The leather strap is thick and a lot more supple than I expected, and also features a quick release spring bar. Polished at the center of the buckle, brushed on the sides, there are also an additional shield-shaped logo that has been brushed and polished with an engraved Z logo that will be parallel in the aesthetics with the head of the crown moving forward. Flipping her over, the case back, solid, screwed in, and brushed in a circular manner, and I'm happy they went with a solid case back, as the movement itself doesn't come decorated, and an exhibition case back would only offer more points of failure for water resistance. We have an engraving with the company name and the logo Z, with the additional text of automatic movement, all stainless steel, and water resistance of 100 meters, with the addition of the model number ZE-24007 included. From this angle, we can also appreciate the back of the lugs being brushed and also the back of the case being brushed as well. The crown, screw down, diamond shaped, coin edged with deep grooves for the grip, polished and brushed on the head, deep engraved, signed with the company's Z. The crown at this size, shape, and manner makes for the keyless function a very positive experience for the user. Looking at the case in an anterior view, we can see circular brushing on the top of the lugs and horizontal brushing on the side profile done with high refinement and absent of any polishing. The bezel, however, is of high polished finish with a sloped inward design that gives a more of an integrated feel to its protective crystal. Speaking of the crystal, we are getting sapphire with AR coating, and viewing from a side profile, the crystal itself only sits very slightly over its neighboring bezel. Sitting just below the crystal, we have loomed cathedral style hands that are segmented and skeletonized at the base of the hour and minute hand, with an arrow tip second hand that reaches out to the edge of the dial, and also features loom at the tip of that arrowhead. The dial is a silver colorway instead of the white appearance that's seen on the website, and has a nice brushing running vertically throughout the entirety of it. At the edge of the dial, we are getting loomed applied black markers for the hours and thin painted thin bars for the minutes. At the 12th, we have Zezame written in script font, with the Z being slightly bolder than the rest of its text. At the 6 o'clock, we also find an automatic text written in script in black font, and just underneath that, 100 meters or 330 feet, indicating the watch's water resistance in a red color print, all of which have been printed onto the dial. And finally, the watch's complication for date tracking can be found below it, with chamfered cuts to the aperture having a luminous paint applied to its numeric value. Luminous paint has been applied on all 3 hands, the hour markers, and again on that date wheel, but the paint applied on the hands are going to be the most effective in holding that solar charge, giving us the most feedback at dead of night. Improvements for the watch. The dial gives off an impression from the website pictures of being a white colorway, when in fact, in person and in most lightings, it is more of a silver tone. So my first recommendation for the watch to the company would probably to get a higher resolution of that dial where it can depict the colorway a little bit more true to how it is in person. And I would also offer a more detailed look, because that brushing going vertically on the dial is absolutely handsome, and I think would enhance the customer's decision. Now, I'm not sure if the safety lock on the class is best served with polishing, being that it will be more susceptible for picking up a lot of scratches along the way, as is usually the first point of contact when wearing any watch on wrist. Also, an on-the-fly adjustment to the class would be a major improvement, but aside from that, the bracelet is amazing value and well done in my opinion, and you often don't receive this in affordable watches. BGW9 lume paint with a good amount of material applied would greatly increase the watch's lume, especially at the indices. I do understand that the indices are black and have lume paint on top of that, so we can't expect too much from it, but it is something to look at because there are a lot of lume fanatics out there that would appreciate more material and increasing the lume's power. There are some sharp edging at the case, more specifically at the end of the lugs, that I think could be addressed to further enhance the watch's overall finishing. Now, I know that was a lot of improvements for me to address, but I really wanted to nitpick the watch just so like that I can give the proper feedback for improvements moving forward. However, overall, the watch has a lot of strengths. The first big plus for me personally is the sapphire crystal, and the reason why I'm mentioning that is because in the past, Zezame did have a mineral crystal, but because they listened to us and our feedback on how to improve the watch, they've already made the change to the watch, and that's exactly the watch that I have received for this review. The packaging of the watch was well secured with an addition of a watch roll and giving us an additional leather strap as mentioned in the beginning of the video, and worth mentioning as a strength because there was a lot of thought process given to it. The movement is proven to be robust and reliable. The crown is well finished and a pleasant experience for the keyless function to grip. All of the finishing is well refined throughout the watch, from the polishing to the brushing and the engravings. In addition, I also feel like the dimensions are worth mentioning as a strength. At 38 millimeters diameter, 12.5 millimeters of thickness, and a lug-to-lug of 46 millimeters make for a nice fit for most average size wrist and just above it. The watch is offered in 5 different colorways for you to choose from, and is offered directly from the website at $250 USD or $180 USD from AliExpress. Now, some have made comparisons of the watch to the Seiko Alpinist, more so maybe for the green dial variation, and I do see where the point could be made, but I think, of course, in my personal opinion, that it has enough character to stand on its own 2 feet while still being able to scratch that itch for an Alpinist without being taken to the cleaners for the original or the Prospex model for that matter. I personally think that the watch effectively draws a lot of great inspiration from vintage style aesthetics and would be compared more so closely to an Orient classical dress watch. But let me know what your opinion is of the watch's value in the comments below, and please don't forget, this all started with a watch. No matter where your watch collection journey takes you, no matter how you decide to collect, you guys are all welcome on this channel and in this community, as you should be. I thank you guys for checking out the review, and I'll see you in the next one.